Pistol from Jamaica and the world. Sponsored by JoJo Mac Music.com.
Hello everyone, I am Pistol and this is your headline news. According to data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Staten, the country is on track to get back to the economic output level before COVID-19 by 2023. Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, said that if the goal is met, Jamaica will be far ahead of our Caribbean peers. He said, quote, "We are at 97% of our pre-COVID levels of economic output. We went all the way down to 82%, but are back up to about 97%. This is related to the fact that we are able to maintain macro stability through the crisis," end quote. Because of how well the economy has been doing, S&P Global Ratings kept Jamaica's B+ rating and stable outlook on the economy. The country is expected to grow by 8% in 2023 and by 4.5% this year. In less than a month, world leaders will convene for the 2022 United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP27, in Egypt to build on previous actions in addressing the climate crisis and eventually pave the way for future ambition. The outcome of COP27 is critical for the small island developing states, SIDS, like the islands in the Caribbean region, as they are the first to be hit by the effects of climate change. Such urgency was reiterated by the Commonwealth of Dominica's President Charles Soradin at the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly held in New York. Soradin has called on the international community to deliver its promises to SIDS, especially when it comes to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Trade growth is expected to lose momentum in the second half of this year and remain subdued in 2023 as a global economy sustains multiple shocks, such as ripple effects from the war in Ukraine. According to the latest forecast from the World Trade Organization, WTO, the UN partner agency has cautioned against imposing trade restrictions, resulting in slower growth and lower living standards. WTO said demand for imports is expected to weaken as growth shows in major economies. In Europe, high energy prices resulting from the Russian invasion of Ukraine will squeeze household spending and raise manufacturing costs. In the United States, monetary policy tightening will affect spending in areas where interest rates count, such as housing, motor vehicles, and fixed investments. China also continues to struggle with COVID-19 outbreaks and production disruption, coupled with weak external demand. Meanwhile, developing countries could face food insecurity and debt distress as important bills for fuel, food, and fertilizers rise, another impact of the war in Ukraine. Chairman of the Caribbean Community CARICOM Council for National Security and Law Enforcement, CONSOL, Dr. Horace Chang, says the United States has given a commitment to the region that it will work towards stemming the flow of illegal firearms into the Caribbean. Recently, Jamaica hosted the 24th CONSOL meeting, and Chang, who is also Jamaica's National Security Minister, said that the issue of illicit firearms trafficking was identified as a Tier 1 threat in the Caribbean Regional Security Strategy and as one of the main drivers of criminality levels in the region. He said it has the potential to cripple the already fragile socio-economic developmental progress in CARICOM and the advancement of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, that allows for the free movement of goods, skills, labor, and services across the 15-member regional integration grouping. Jamaica has securely secured a seat on Part 3 of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO Council, following elections at the 41st Assembly in Montreal, Canada. The country will serve a 3-year term. Jamaica's election to Part 3 of the Council, which includes states ensuring geographic representation, is strategic for the country, the region, or the small island developing states and least developed states all over the world. Jamaica has been a member since 1963, but the last time it was on the council was from 1977 to 1986. I am Pistol, and that was your headline news.
That was Headline News with Pistol from Jamaica and the world. Sponsored by